All right, well, welcome everyone. Welcome to Office Hours with Michael Kitces. So as you can see, I'm in a little bit of a different setting than usual here, hanging out with the AICPA's PFP, Personal Financial Planning Summit. And one of the themes that we've been talking about here at the summit today is this whole idea of building a business, like a true business. Now a business is distinct from simply building a practice. So I did a segment on Office Hours about this a couple of months ago that was really popular, just making this distinction between a practice, which is something that's built around you as the financial advisor, as the founder, owner. You bring in the clients, you do the work, you earn the income, and that's the deal. Maybe you have a support staff or two, but like substantively, the practice is built around you, it generates income for you, and frankly, it will end when you retire or it will die when you die. And the distinction is compared to a true financial advisor business is frankly something that transcends you as the founder owner. So it's not just that you're the advisor, you're primarily the advisory firm business owner. And most of your time is really spent building and developing the business, including hiring and training advisors who will serve the clients, because it's not primarily about you, the financial advisor, it's about you, the financial advisory firm business owner. So we're working on the business and not in the business. And the noble distinction is that the business survives and outlives you as the owner. It can be sold, it can be transferred for a sizable sum, because people aren't buying you doing financial advice, they're buying a business that you created. Now that raises the question that I hear a lot from advisors, which is, so if I'm doing a practice now, how do I actually transition into a business? How do I make that shift? So the first thing that you need to be prepared for if you're going to make the transition from running a practice to building a business is to understand that you personally can't primarily spend your time serving the clients. Now, in part, that's simply because if you're the only or the primary advisor servicing clients, eventually you're going to flat out hit a wall. Because you can just only service so many clients. Maybe if you get a couple more support staff, you can serve a few more, but you will hit a wall. And so if you're spending all of your time working in the business, eventually you just run out of time. And that becomes the end of the business. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean if you want to be a long-term business owner, so you have to get rid of all of your clients forever, because it's still helpful maybe to keep a few clients. Remember what it's like to sit across from a client, hear their needs and concerns. Similarly, there are some founders that continue to be the marketing or the face of the business because that's your primary skill set. But understand that if you want to build a business, your primary role isn't serving clients, it's not marketing for new ones, it's being the leader of the business. Which means the starting point, if you want to make the transition from being in a practice to being in a business, is you have to let go of your clients, at least most of them. You have to bring on some kind of paraplanner or associate advisor who can support you in serving clients and have them take over as the primary advisor. Now, you don't have to do it all at once. Frankly, it's probably not feasible to do it all at once. It may start with hiring an associate advisor to help out. They'll do the busy work for clients. They'll come to the client meetings. They'll handle those miscellaneous financial planning questions the client asks. Even if the client asks you, the associate advisor responds. And you can, over time, train and transition clients to let go of you and to work with your associate advisor. You may even find the clients start to transition themselves, because at some point they're going to kind of figure out where the work gets done. So I find for most firms that want to do this, it's kind of a gradual 2 to 3 year process. So in the first year, you hire an associate advisor who comes to all the meetings but just listens. In the second year, the associate advisor maybe talks up and answers the questions with your supervision. In the third year, the associate advisor leads the meeting and you sit second chair. And after that, it's not really your client anymore. It's the firm's client that the other advisor is serving. And as the firm continues to grow and brings in more clients, the key point is they don't work with you. Don't transition clients to free up space for more clients. Transition clients, and when more clients come, hire another advisor to serve them. And the more clients you get, the more advisors you hire. Because remember, the whole point of this is you're not trying to grow your client base. You're trying to grow a business of advisors who serve clients. Now, the second thing to recognize is that if you're going to build a business, not a practice, you need a skilled team to service those clients. Because again, it's not about you as their primary advisor. You'll hire advisors to serve clients. You're running a financial advisory business. And so, frankly, you won't just need to hire advisors. You're going to need to hire operations staff, back office staff. You'll have to manage them. Eventually, you have to have people to help you manage them. When you grow large enough, you'll need managers to manage the people, and all the way down the line. In fact, the reality is that since advising is a service business, finding and developing people will arguably become your number one job, because that staff line item is the biggest expense of the advisory business, and managing it well means finding and developing people. So in other words, you have to recognize that if you're going to be building an advisory business where you are not the primary one serving clients, Jill Schlesinger coming and joining us here.
Sorry, Michael.
Welcome,
Thank you. So
Joy.
Michael kicked ass today on that panel.
Yes, Jill was hosting our panel today as we were talking through like these dynamics of
Absolutely.
how you build and develop and grow a business so it's not just you.
Has anyone ever kissed you on office hours?
I don't think anyone's ever kissed me on
It's
office
a
hours.
first, you
That's a
guys.
first.
It's
That's
a
the first
first.
time.
Fantastic.
So what do you think? Look, like all the people are coming in. We're getting like
you
tap
like that?
hearts on Periscope.
Very
Thank
good.
you, everyone.
All right, sweet.
Thank
All right, I'm
you.
going to let you finish.
Awesome.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for joining
Okay,
us.
bye.
As you can see, I'm not kidding. We are live here at AICPA's PFP Summit. That was Jill Schlesinger, host of Jill on Money, who was joining us and moderating the panels today. But recognize this transition that if you're building an advisory business where you're not the primary one serving clients, your business will live and die by the quality of your people and your ability to attract and retain great people, which is, again, just a total shift from what you do as a financial advisor. So for those of you who listen to this week's Financial Advisor Success podcast, our guest, Deb Weatherby, talked about this extensively, how they vet and evaluate new employees and bring them into the firm's culture and teach them to be successful, because at that point, their success, your employee's success, is the firm's success, is your business's success. And from your context as a founder, it means you're not primarily watching for opportunities to meet prospective new clients. You're watching for opportunities to meet prospective new employees to be part of your growing business. But ultimately, the biggest distinction in transitioning from a practice to a business is a mindset shift. It's recognizing that you're not trying to do financial planning anymore. You're trying to build a business that does and delivers financial planning. This is one of the central concepts of Michael Gerber's E-Myth, which is a book I highly recommend for any financial advisors interested in making this transition from practice to business. So in E-Myth, Gerber tells the story of Sarah. So Sarah is someone who loves to make pies. That's what she enjoys doing with her spare time. And she's so good at making pies that her friends tell her, well, you should sell them. So she opens up a pie shop. And then she discovers that making pies is completely different than running a pie-making business. Because now it's not actually about making the pies, it's about running the business. And that's the same mindset change that you have to confront as a financial advisor if you want to make a transition from a practice to a business. It means you're not here to do financial planning, just as Sarah wasn't there to make pies anymore. It's your job to build and grow a business that brings financial advice to clients. This became Sarah's job to run a pie-making business. Now, frankly, I know for some of you, that sounds miserable. And that's actually one of the key points in E-Myth, that not everyone actually wants to spend their time building a business. Sometimes you just want to do the work in the business, enjoy it. Sarah just wanted to make pies. You may just want to advise clients, and that's okay. Because building a business is hard and it's messy and it's not the right fit for everyone. And frankly, we know from the industry benchmarking data that you might spend 10 or more years making less money than you would by just being a financial advisor running a profitable solo practice, because you have to keep reinvesting to grow, to get more clients, to get more staff to service more clients so that you can feed the machine and try to emerge from the other end as a business with scale, which by a lot of experts' estimates these days means you might need $1 billion of AUM just to make as much as you can make as a profitable solo practice. So in other words, like building a business takes a lot of sacrifices along the way. That's part of the trade-off. You don't have to do it, but if you do, be prepared for the reality of it, and that it's about this mindset shift. Right, so one of the common questions I hear is, if you want to build a business, does that mean you can't have your name on the door? And I find that's actually not relevant. Building a business is not about whether it has like the generic name or the founder's name, right? Schwab is still a business. It's not just Chuck Schwab's personal thing. Ford was founded by Ford. Michael Dell founded Dell. Guess who founded Merrill Lynch? Mr. Merrill and Mr. Lynch. Even Porsche Automobile, and Porsche as a car stands for something, it was founded by a dude named Porsche. The key distinction for all those companies is that they grew far beyond just the founder themselves. Even if his or her name stayed at the top of the letterhead, at some point it wasn't about the founder. It was about the business, and the founder simply led it. So in the context as a financial advisor, that means recognizing that your role as a business owner is not to get and serve clients. It's to attract and retain talented employees and to focus on building a business that does financial planning, not doing it yourself. And then going through the never-ending series of changes you'll have to deal with as a business owner. Because The truth is the challenge and demands of the business will change over time. First, you'll hire an associate advisor and transition clients, and you'll hire another advisor. Then you need more operations staff. Then you have to systematize to stay efficient. Then you have to hire more people to help manage the people. Then you have to hire marketing staff to scale up the growth. Then you have to figure out how to retain the long-term advisors and even introduce new partners as co-owners. And your role just will continue to evolve as the needs of the business evolve. That's what it means to be a leader in a business. But if there's one thing that you take away from this, it's just to recognize that the biggest key to changing from a practice to a business isn't actually the nuts and bolts about transitioning clients or hiring some staff or changing the name of the firm. It's a mindset shift about what you're trying to build and figuring out what it is that you want to build. So I hope that helps a little as just some food for thought about what this transition from practice to business looks like. This is Office Hours with Michael Kitces. Normally 1 p.m. East Coast time on Tuesdays. Obviously, we were a little off today because of this AICPA PFP Summit that we're at. But thanks again for joining us, everyone, and have a great day.